First of all, I would like to extend my good evening to all listeners here and over the world. I think that some of in Europe, they are now watching. So hello to everyone. Now then, I would like also to dedicate this sharing to all learners of the ageless wisdom over the world. I am sure that some invisible beings are listening here and are being with us. Although you don't see them, they are there. So pay some homage and respect towards them. You see, the sixth patriarch, Wenang of Chang Buddhism, used to address his audience like learned audience. I would like to do the same with you and address you as learned audience, because all of you are learned people, students of seriousness, and searching for a way to reach reality. So you are really serious learners. I would like to dedicate to all learners of the ageless wisdom. But I just am trying here to put these things that we have known together in order to discover together a sense, a meaning of life. And this is our aim. Our aim is not to put more and more in our brain, more and more in our mind, but sort out what we can do already with what we know, we have known already. And then I would say this is a kind of exploration into insight. Now, first of all, learned audience, about the title. I have been thinking some time to decide what to put, either the Dharma of humanity, the Dharma of a human being, or the Dharma of humans. And after some time, I took the conclusion that I should take the humans. Why? Because you know all, humanity is a quality, a characteristic of being human. All of us, each one of us, is a human. We have humanity, this quality, characteristic, which is humanity. But it is not the collective, not a collectivity, what we call humanity. Animals will become humans after some time. All of us know about that. Yeah? There is no secret about that, because there is a constant evolution of consciousness. Constant means no stop, non-stop. You evolve, you leave the place to the others to come. Otherwise, you are blocking the road. Okay? So, this, I have decided to take the title as Dharma of humans. It means that this Dharma we are going to explore together concerns each one of us, and not humanity. Each one of us and all of us. So, what is Dharma? This is a very beautiful name. There is Dharma as little girl, not so little now. Dharma, you know already Dharma. What is Dharma? Sometimes we, as members of society, Theosophical Society, we have the duty to explain to people, the sympathizers, who have the tendency to mix up karma, dharma, whatever, and I have to fulfill my dharma, my karma. Well, you are still trying to purify your karma before really to reach the possibility to fulfill your dharma. So don't mix them up. The dharma is your duty. You have decided to do the kind of contract you have signed before your birth. You sign a contract unknowingly to you, but the spiritual soul, not the human soul, not the animal soul, but the spiritual soul signed a contract before going to make your parents meet together. Well, perhaps in the very far future, you don't need any parent to come to birth. It is profiling there in the perspective. I don't know whether it is a good thing or bad thing. I just observe the progress of science. Maybe it will be good, maybe it's not, depending on what you are thinking now. If you are very, very traditionalist, you will say, one parent, another parent, should be two parents. You are very progressive with science and scientific progress. You will say, well, birth on earth is a birth. And the very essential thing is how to teach this soul how to get to ethics, how to get with the whole humanity. This is the main thing, etc., etc. I do not decide, and I would not invite you to decide. You think for yourself, because the principle of our exploration is freedom. Freedom not only of thought, but freedom of thinking and of believing after having thought for a certain time. We reach some belief and we cannot reject them. It is like a kind of, in scientific field, you have a kind of temporary conclusion. You have some conclusion to move on with that. Otherwise, you will be out of some in clouds and you don't have any step to found your theory. So all this just concerns preambles. Now we are going to explore together a series of questions which for the time being I consider as essential for our life, our living, our dealing with all the surroundings of existence itself. So first of all, what is a human being? And then, of course, what is the theosophical perspective on evolution? Because we are in the club, whether we want to be or we don't want to be, we are in the club. So you cannot deny, I'm not of the evolution thing, I'm outside. Leave me alone in peace. You can't. So we should know in advance what we can and what we can't, so that at the end, in we discuss and questions and answers, please do not ask me, I don't want to be in your system of evolution. It is not my system. It is the way it is. When a baby or a toddler asks you, why? It is the way it is. You cannot explain it. So be with it, because you can't have any other choice. So we are in the system. And what is the universe? Goodness. We are living in this vast universe. It is manifested. It is not manifested. And what is the other side? Meaning, what is not manifested? Because manifested, they are full of things to be discovered. Sure, science is dealing with it. But we are a little bit curious beyond. What is the other side? And we are going to explore what scientists are now talking about black holes and white holes, right? Perhaps the first time that you heard about white holes. But there is big discussion about this. You heard about that? Good. So we will have good discussion. And then, what is matter? What is space and time and space-time? Matter is extraordinary, mysterious. when we read one of the Mahatma letters, it is said, matter is eternal. Goodness, and then we should not be materialistic. So what is that matter? You see, it is all the paradoxical ideas challenging our mind. But this is our job. Otherwise, it is easy life. Yeah, you have to some entertainment park and that's it. But life, it is not like that. You agree with me? Then, what is the relationship between the universe, which we can see just partly, and a human being? Right from the beginning, it is wrongly put, because we are the universe. It is not relationship between, but we are that universe, but we don't know it yet. And then, what are the powers latent in a human being? This certainly is the most important, interesting part for us, because you want to know. The third eye, all this, I want to reach it. And when you announce it in the title of a talk or some program, said how to open your third eye, you will be seeing people flocking in, because all of us want to have the third eye open. When I was a little bit younger, well, much younger, I read the series of Lobsang Rampa. This Englishman, but he identified himself as a Tibetan monk, and he wrote a series of things very, very, very attractive. And there is one of his titles called The Third Eye. Then we read through it, and we find the description, materially, how they open the third eye in Tibet. I said, goodness, I don't want to go this operation. I keep my two eyes only, not the third. So, if you want some entertainment, read this book. It is a little bit old, but it is still destructive and entertaining. And the last question, which is really the main question, all of the questions we have asked before, just point to one last question. How can we grow spiritually in order to benefit all in life? Because doing things for oneself is boring. I can tell you, very recently I underwent a kind of series of checking on health-wise. And my doctor said, you are in good shape. You can continue to work, but slow down. I said, okay, I will respect the first part. The second, I'm not so sure. And then I told them, one of them, the professor, he is a professor, really brilliant professor. I said to him, you see, I cannot promise you, because I personally found that taking care of oneself is somehow boring. And he stared at me and said, oh, what you say is true, but you have to. Okay, he's a professor, so I have to obey and comply with his advices. This is the role of doctors, you see, and I admire them. My mother wanted me to do medicine. And then I said, oh goodness, I feel the responsibility lying in front of me. I said, I will never be capable of doing this as a kind of sacerdoce. So I keep only on the field of admiration, and I do things, study things in university, but not medicine. So this is the last question, is the question which will remain in our mind when we leave this convention, I hope. And even though you will receive plums, it will help. You don't need to receive strawberries to deal with this question. Okay? So let's go for the first. Let us deal with this question. What is a human being? You know everything about it. What theosophy teaches us about this, and then septenary, constitution, etc., and then the higher triangle, the down there, the square, and then you have to behave to look at Buddhi. So you know all this. But what is a human being in reality? We have to deal with our own labyrinth and meet individually our own minotaur and get rid of it. We know all this, the upper part, the lower part, the lower mind, the upper mind, etc. We know. But then dealing with reality of facts of life, something is there, stuck there. So how can we move on? So I think that a human being, we have to place it in the context and the most vast possible. This is the context of evolution. We are not alone. We are the whole part. But we are not nine. We are one in principle, in theory. But all of us has this freedom of consciousness, because consciousness has its first quality, essential, which is freedom. Mind you, freedom comes first before love. You don't know how to love correctly if you don't understand what is freedom. Please understand and not distort my thinking that we are free of doing whatever we want. No, not that. The freedom of consciousness means that I know what I'm doing. I love, I know that I'm loving, and etc., etc. The freedom of consciousness means to be conscious. And what is to be conscious? We say, oh, my pet, a cat at home, is very conscious when he or she is hungry. He's looking for food. We are conscious when we are hungry. We are conscious of this, of that. But there is something more. We are conscious that we are conscious. Cannot say, oh, I'm conscious here. I like to do this. Let's do it. But there is something there. It is the quality of consciousness in the human mind is self-consciousness. It is not consciousness alone. And this is the characteristic which absolutely make a difference between the animals and us. So I fully reject this proposal that humans are just social animals. No, we are not animals, sure. We're humans. And we are trying to open the way so that our little brothers, the animals, would take the road after us and not creating too much obstacles for them by eating them, for example. Abstain, if you could. I mean, it is not a dogma. Do whatever you want. We are free. But then you have to know why you do it. You say, I cannot live without. Okay, it is your problem. It is not my problem. But my problem is to tell you, you love animals, don't eat them. Because I'm really very worried when some friends would come to me, carnivorous, of course, they would come and say, oh, I love you, Kim-Diêu. I said, oh, so okay. What are you going to do with me? So, this is true. So a human being is this efflorescence of the animal soul. As the masters of wisdom are efflorescence of humans. And by this, we have this duty, this ethical obligation to ease the way for them to come without not too much suffering. Because suffering, of course, hampers a lot. And we will go through it of this. So that a human being is first the consciousness, self-consciousness. Because we know that we know, we are conscious that we are conscious. And then we are conscious also with the fact that because you are conscious, we are conscious of being conscious, we have this obligation to take care of the other kingdoms. Otherwise, who are going to do it? The angels? It is not their job. They will come back here to be humans as we are now. It is for the expert of secret doctrine. May I? Madame Blavatsky say even the archangels would come back. Why? Because they have to learn this lesson of how to surpass, how to transcend the duality problem. And we have this problem of duality, the problem of choice. And the mind is suffering always from choice. What to do, this one, pro and cons, this is one, and it is stuck. We are going to explore this also. Why is it that we are completely under the influence of this duality of the mind? It is very obvious for those who have studied the constitution of the humans. You have the upper part, the lower, you try to make it fit by trying to reach Buddhi, right? And everyone is trying to do it if we understood something. But trying to do it means that we have to do something in our life and not discuss with the figures, a triangle and the square. Sometimes we are trying so much, thinking about ideas, about concepts, that we are like children playing with logos. You see, they put things together, and there is a character called the Schroeder by this artist drawer called Schulz. I am very fond of. The little boy play the logos, and after some time, he gets stuck in all his constructions, and he can help me to get out of all this. And it's just us trying to play with our theoretical knowledge, our concepts. Even they are very high and very subtle, but we are aware of this. And then what is the theosophical perspective on evolution? It is so clear for us. In the whole world, there is just two types of people. One who believe in the evolution, and the other ones no. Where is it? You know it. So I don't have to refer it. But it's just two types of people. If you are there, you are here, you are from the part of the people who believe that there is evolution. We are in the club, meaning that you cannot say, I don't want to. Meaning that you are playing alone, your game. It doesn't work. You can play life after life, and suddenly you will realize that you cannot, because it is not a game that you can play alone. We are all together. Either we will shrink together or we will go beyond together. And those who will be left behind, they will have to take care of our little brother, the animals. And mind you, you can be frightened now if I explain to you how the animals will treat the humans when they will come in the form of humans. It starts already the process, if you watch well. Don't be frightened. It is just a fact. So this perspective of evolution gives us a lot of, not only hope, I would not call it hope, but trust in life. Trust. We have to trust life because there is the whole current stream bringing all the consciousness, not individual, but the whole consciousness one towards something better, something nobler, etc. And we are part of it, individually speaking. But we cannot talk about individuals because when this evolution now is taking place, we are part of it. And we cannot say James Kim-Diêu is one part. No, we are one in this, and we're moving together without, I would say, forgetting and putting aside our individual identity. Otherwise, it will hamper our action. So all this is part of the universe. It's part of the universe, and what is this universe? I have this good karma that in my teenage, the family was living in the house of 4 stories. And at the last part, there is a terrace. And every night, I lay down on the terrace and looking at the sky. And that I was reading a lot of Isaac Asimov. You know that? Isaac Asimov. Yeah? Thank you. And then talking about the universe, about black holes. And I said, what is that? What are we in this universe, this tiny little thing, 100 years of life, born, develop, die, and we may die without knowing anything more. So what? And from that on, this kind of mystery obsessed me. It is an obsession. I would say it is the only obsession I have. So, don't worry. I'm not a case of psychiatry. It is the only obsession. So what is this universe? This manifested side we know, we see, and all the astronomers, the scientific describers, and sometimes they want to make it so popular that they add some things which are not really true. You watch some popularized images of the universe, you have to bear all the noises. But you know that in the universe there is silence. The constellation can crash together in silence because who is there to listen to that, to hear that? Okay, so it is funny when you watch those things, but it is still very, very interesting and really appealing to your curiosity. This manifested side, you know most of the thing, and they can discover this planet, maybe like Earth. It is just petty things. Yeah? But the big thing is that the other side of the black hole, what is it? You have one side, you should have another side. And what happens on this other side? The most prominent scientists advance the theory that the other side is a white hole, meaning that from the black hole, from this side, we don't know anything about this because everything will disappear in that. But in the other side, the black holes of that side is supposed to reject the fundamental matters for another universe. What do you think about it? I read it the first time, I said, wow, I don't feel to go to eat. I don't feel to be thirsty. I said, what's that? So, this is science moving from one paradox to another paradox. And the mind has to learn this, how to deal with paradox. How to deal with paradox. And the Tao Te Ching will teach us absolutely wonderfully how to deal with paradoxes. There's no high, no low, etc. And you are lost. You are in space. There's no high, no low. Yeah? And so, coming back to this mystery of the universe, the other side, unless we know more about the other side, very popularized scientific wrote a lot about it, and there's one who is now in the bestseller, is called Rovelli. If you have the occasion, Rovelli. He is Italian, but his books are bestsellers everywhere, so that you have in English, in French, etc. So he is one of another friend called Aurélien Barraud. They are kind of clicking together, a pair in the research. And then it is for sure that it is impossible that everything will disappear in the black hole without anything else. The mind cannot accept this. So what is next? It is for you, for us, if I'm still alive, to find out what is it, and following what they have discovered. So the question is, what is the structure of the universe? We have studied the secret doctrine for many of you here, and they describe, and Madame Blavatsky said, don't try to make something rational for you because you are not capable of doing that, because it is above the mind. Now, with science, we try perhaps to go a little bit nearer. What is the real structure of the universe? What is it made of? Is it a substance? Everlasting? Some of the Eastern philosophies call it svabhavat. It's called just a substance, not a matter. It's so subtle that you go to the entries of all the books, go to it and read it, and it will give you some insight to this and the structure of the universe. There is one physicist, logician, absolutely extraordinary, but he had some problems at the end of his life because he's so obsessed with the matter that he turned out to be cuckoo, meaning that he lost. But it's one of the utmost highest. He's called Gödel. Go to this and look. Gödel. He advanced a theory. This theory was not followed, but I'm sure that they are working on it without telling us. Because sometimes when they bring out, this is, he works about it for 50 years or something before bringing out. And Gödel has this really bright, brilliant idea about the movement of heavenly bodies. This is constellations, planets, suns, etc. They are moving all together. Now there are many theories saying, well, the universe is expanding. It means that it is endlessly bigger and bigger, and then the distance between the constellations are bigger and bigger. It is endless. Then Gödel said, what if the substance of the universe is moving? Huh? You have read it? No, read it. Yeah. What is that? I mean, instead of seeing things, items moving, what if the substance sustaining all these bodies, it is moving itself? Yeah. Another time where I forgot to eat, forget to drink, I said, what is that? It is like white holes. It's the moving substance of the universe. I have no answer to give to you. It is just show you where to look, and to find out. Now the next question is, what is matter and what is space-time? Matter is eternal, as K.H. put it, and it was a problem for me when I was dealing with all the Hinduist philosophy saying Purusha, Prakriti, and never, etc., etc. But now it is said matter is eternal. Meaning that at a certain point, matter and spirit, they are mingled. And at the first step of manifestation, they have to separate to make it manifested. But before, it is just one. But we cannot know further from a certain point. As K.H. put it, no adept can go further than the consciousness corresponding to Mula Prakriti. Meaning that you cannot go to what we supposedly think that there is pure spirit. We can't. Even the highest adept cannot go beyond this border. So you know where you can or you can't. I invite you very sincerely to go and study Mahatma letters. You will find treasures in it. And think about it. Now, matter is kind of mystery. You cannot define. You just have indications, and then link to it. What is space-time? You know, all the time, the notion of time, everyone knows about it. We have to be on time. We have to be not to be late. This is just a convention, a matter of convention. If you live in Jupiter, you don't have the same, right? It is just, now we are living on Earth, we have to respect this convention, otherwise we will be out of the society, human society. So what is space-time? Einstein didn't separate, he said space-time. And it is absolutely, strikingly brilliant. You cannot say space only or time only. And space, if we read the poem in the Sacred Doctrine, in the stanza of Jian, the poem, it says, there is one thing, it was, will be, will ever be, is already and it will be, is space. Sorry, I cannot mention it to you word by word, but the idea remains. So read the poems. It says it is forever. Space is ever. And then the matter of time. Matter of time, it is so big, so profound, so, I would say, appealing to the consciousness and the dimension of the freedom of consciousness. Because of this attraction of the freedom in consciousness, consciousness is attracted to space-time. Because this is our prison in a way of putting it. How is it that I live in this space-time, and can I be outside this? But no, in principle, no, because we are in this club of evolution, and evolution is defined in this space and time. So what is time? An illusion. But it is a conclusion. Now, how we come to this conclusion? This is a conclusion because we invent the matter of time. It says, there's one philosopher very near to our teachings of theosophy. I am not a learned person, please forgive me. Sometimes it pops up in my mind, so I share it with you. And I have verified my reference before giving it to you by talking with our friend Kurt Latent to be sure that it is really in this piece of writing of Plato or another one. And in Time, Plato seems to say that when he was asked what is time, he said, time is the movement of eternity. Oh, wow. Another time I don't think about eating or drinking. You see now, I'm shrinking in the earth when I read those things. So you think the power of the poetry and the power of reality behind it, the movement of eternity. It meaning what? It means that we are living in eternity, but we don't know. We don't know. And there is a discussion many times about past, present, future, and some people say we have to live in the present, etc. No. This morning it was rectified. It is now. It is not the present. Present is just past, present, future. The now cannot be defined because it is moving all the time. It's moving. And a joke, but it is a real one. A question was asked to a humorist, a French humorist. What is your age? How old are you? His answer said, I can't tell you because it is moving all the time. It is true, is it? If you add half a second to each, you cannot run after and give the age. So this is time, and we are bound to it. And we bow to it, but we have this capacity, which is extraordinary, to think about it, to understand it, and certainly if you can understand this matter, you can go beyond it, meaning to transcend. What is transcending? Transcending means that you live in the condition, but this will not be a hamper, a kind of dictatorship on you. You are aware of it, you just move on. That's it. And you are conscious. And this is the most precious gift that we have received from generations before us. They have cleared the way for us to see. Many of them said that. Krishnamurti said, now will be easier for you to walk on the road because I have done it. He opened the road. And then we, all this tiny thing in that universe, between the universe and us, we have this, it is absolutely breathtaking, because they say, well, who am I? Question. We will link with the first question, what is a human being? Who am I? And the relationship between the universe, there is none. There is none because we are the universe. In miniature. Everything here. And you say, what is the corresponding elements with black holes and white holes? If you are, the universe is in you. Oh, good question, challenging. Why don't you think about this in terms of memories? Memories, like when you lose the thing, the consciousness continues to survive, but the memory disappears. And what is that? Are you sure that parallel to our world here, visible with physical bodies, are you sure that there is not another universe with beings, not like us, but just made of consciousness? You are not sure. This is why I said I address also to the invisible beings here. And they are here without us knowing, oh, you are there. They don't have any identity or name, but they are here. So, what is the relationship? There is no relationship. We are the universe. But we have to discover. And what makes the difference is that we make the difference between the universe manifested that we observe outside and we as me identify as me. As long as I identify myself as me, as John, as Kim-Diêu, as you are not the universe, you are just a small piece of things that you have embroidered yourself with all your qualities and your things. I am like that, I'm like that, I'm that. But in reality, you are bigger, much bigger. Not by ambition, because by the nature, you are just one manifestation of this universe manifested. So now, it means that we are deposited in us an infinity of latent powers, which we ignore. Why? Because consciousness is focused there, and it is bigger. So the whole humanity is there to be focused there, and then how to survive? How to survive? It is important because you cannot live without having a means for living. You have to contribute. Contributing to the life of society, human society, is the first aim of the Confucius teaching. You cannot be idle without doing something and benefit from the society. This is Confucius. Now, Lao Tzu came and said paradoxes. You don't have high, low, this is mixing up. You have to make your own balance. So, take this, take this. And one of the best Taoists, please remember this name, and when you are in loss of some moral or some hope in life, just refer to Chuang-Tzu. You know the word Chuang-Tzu? Yes? It is a terrible friend forever. He would say, what is the problem to be useless? Well, contrary with Confucius. Confucius says you have to be useful for the society, human society. Chuang-Tzu says no problem. Why are you against the useless people? It is obvious that without the useless people, you cannot identify yourself as useful. So, it is their use, no? So, everyone is useful in a way or another. So, don't give any judgment when you see somebody is living idly. I mean, that it is perhaps his way of expressing himself. And then, I mean, that it is very generous, and it is the natural quality of the Taoists of the first epoch of time, and Chuang-Tzu is like that. For him, the word generosity does not exist. He said by the golden time, when time is golden, everybody is sharing, giving to each other, receiving, without calling it generosity. The people who have high responsibilities are just like high branches on a tree. And there is no hierarchy in a society. It is very, very, very idealistic. And then he went on, and sometimes very hilarious. He said the story. He said, you see, don't run too fast. This is our human society now. Quicker, more effective, quick. And then he gave a story. He said, there is a man who tried to run faster than his shadow. He runs and he got exhausted after some time. And why is it I cannot run faster than my shadow? And finally, of course, I think some friend tell him, go to the shade and you will have the shadow disappear. But this is the best part of Chuang-Tzu. If you have not read, please do, because it will make life lighter, more poetic, and with a pinch of hilarious element. It is really. So this is, the human mind is always in challenge of something if it is alive. If the human mind is not alive, it is okay. I will take life like that. But if we watch life seriously, it is always in challenge. And we see in things we cannot explain. I was born in South Vietnam. Since a young age, I have seen phenomena. I mean that people speaking another language, people taking another consciousness of another person and expressing another personality. It was somehow frightening. You see, you see there a woman of 50 years old, and then there's a boy, the consciousness of a boy of 5 years, coming in, and this is the phenomenon of metempsychosis. It is not reincarnation, it is metempsychosis, meaning that somebody taking the consciousness of somebody once over. And then this woman will speak with the voice of a 5-year boy. And then I have seen with my eyes people like you and me just jumping from the floor up to the roof of 10 meters high, one jump. How do you explain all this? And this we go to the power latent in human beings. Of course, clairvoyance is a gift, a latent. But don't look for it. If you are not born for that, it is a waste of time. If you are born, okay, thank you very much, God. But don't try to earn it, because you are worth much more. clairaudience, clairvoyance, see whatever. And then the latent, in a human being, latent power. You see? What is for you? It's this a corn. You see it? I tell you, it is an oak tree. What is the difference? Time. And the latent power in man would tell you, I see it not as a corn, but as already an oak tree. And all the wise people of wisdom, they would see everything in a kind of landscape which is including everything, but not just an acorn. They will see oak trees, they will see everything with this quality of anticipation of time. This is the real power at a certain time for the human being. And coming back to the question, what is a human being? What is a human being? We all know that we are a spark of the divine. But then to be more dynamic, I would say, I will show to you something with the authorization of a general manager here, that I would not set this auditorium in fire. Christopher, with your authorization, you said you can burn 2 to 3 and not more. I will just follow your order, okay? Look at it. I have planned 3 because I said some people from afar, they will not see. So look at what I'm doing. I'm scratching a match. And when it happens, there's a phenomenon of what we call effulgence. This is fire, the fire coming to existence. Look here. Have you seen before? You see, you have not seen, so I start again. But 3, you have to see, otherwise I cannot go to 4. I go. You see, from the matches, there is a kind of the fire comes there, appears like a fire. But before this, I said, can you see or you can't? Do it at home, but be careful with the fire. Perhaps this is difficult. Before that you see the flame, there's a phenomenon coming into. This is called effulgence. This effulgence is this dynamic movement of burning all the time. We are this effulgence of the divine, meaning that we have to burn it all the time and make it shine, make it bright, make it alive. Don't keep it as a weak flame, and then after that sometime we have to reinitiate it again. Keep it burning as a phenomenon of effulgence. Now, how can we grow spiritually then? We are doing here kind of work together. We have been walking, we have been sharing some thinking, some understanding together. Please do it at home. Not only wait for convention or seminars or retreat or something. Make it a kind of second life for you at home. Meditation, reflection, studies, and service. This is the basic thing. We don't have any other way to go, because we are in the club, we are in the evolution process, and this status to us, you move on and move on. Don't stay immobile. And then when you start to realize that life is always moving, You cannot be immobile at your home saying, oh, I am a good person. Yes, you are a good person. I am a good person. We try to do good and avoid bad. But it is not enough. Why? Because we have this self-consciousness. And we are effulgence of the divine. We have to move on. And this moving on is also the characteristic of many teachings. Don't stay there. Go on, move on. And when the Buddhists wish you something, and particularly at your death, which is another rebirth, because for Buddhists there is no death, they will tell you, go beyond, go further to reach the other shore. This is the mantra of the Diamond Sutra, or the Sutra of the Heart, if we condense it, meaning move on, forever move. And in fact, I have nothing to share with you. There are many words pronounced now here, many words. But in fact, no words was pronounced. Thank you for your following.